Good morning. Welcome to day 14 of Vlogmas. I also just realized it's payday today, so it's going to be a good day. I am going to do a regular podcast today, so I thought I might take you behind the scenes of a day in the life of a podcaster. It's all very glamorous, I assure you. The first thing I do is I do my show notes in my podcast journal. And so you can see that these show notes are actually dated for Wednesday. I was in the middle of writing them when I had to tend to my granddaughter's emergency. She is doing fine, she said. I was texting back and forth with her yesterday. She unfortunately was not able to play the flute last night in her Christmas concert, but she said there were things she was going to be able to do to help. So she seemed to be in good spirits, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, there's my start of my show notes for this week's episode. And then once they are written, I transfer them to, this is the draft version of my blog. While I was doing show notes, the doorbell rang and I have mail. This is my Black Friday order from Madeline Tosh. And even though it tells me a little bit about what I have on the outside and actually here, listed here, I haven't opened it yet and I can't remember what all of them look like, so you get to join in the fun. It meant I had to redo or revise show notes, but this is the best reason to revise show notes. Plus, I'd actually forgotten to add my acquisitions from earlier this week from Fiber Nymph, so that was a good reminder to add the acquisitions section to my podcast. Oh. Okay, let's start with this one. This, open it up. This was, this was a one-of-a-kind Tosh Merino light set of 2, which I thought would be really pretty. Oh, really pretty for a shawl. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it is so pretty. I just love that. You can see I would have to alternate skeins, because this one's definitely a little darker, but that's okay. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I love getting yarn in the mail. Okay, another bag here. So the first part of it is, it was a little set of sock yarn with a little mini for like heels and toes. So this is their Euro sock base, and it's funny because when I ordered it I kept reading this as Elven, but it's 11. So this is 11 light and this is 11 dark. I don't know how great the light is, but it's purpley based. This thread keeps getting in the way. That's so pretty too. After I ordered it, Helen Stewart's last pattern in the Handmade Sock Society came out, and it used a contrasting yarn for the heels and toes, and I sort of thought this might work for that. So I haven't decided for sure, but that's what this might end up being. I'm so far behind in that I've got 2 patterns I haven't even cast on. Now this next set of yarns, they had fade sets that you could buy, and there was one that was, I think, like 7 colors in it, which was more than I needed. I think it was for an actual find your fade, and that's just too big a shawl for me. So I picked some colors out of it with the idea of doing a faded sweater, and so as I see them in person, I hope they're faded enough. Definitely these two are. This one might be too contrasty, but that's okay. I'll find something to do with them together. This is, oh, there's the phone. Be right back. Okay, so as I was saying, yeah, there's 3 yarns that are going to go together for, in my mind, for a sweater. So this one is called Toner Cartridge. So it's just a tonal gray. This one is called Io, and you can see it's a really nice blend of red with some sort of beige and other colors in there. Remember, this is the first time I'm getting a look at these two. And then the one for the middle is called Brienne of Tarth Battles a Bear, and I'm sure there's a reference, pop culture reference or something there. I have no idea what it is. It's gray and it has some red and green. It seemed to me in the picture that maybe this had more more red in it, but I'm gonna actually undo it because it looks like there might be some hiding in there. Okay, so I can see that there is in fact more red than I first thought. And so, yeah, whether I end up using these in a shawl or whether I use them in a sweater as I originally planned, I think they'll look really nice. So did I say this is also their Euro sock, which I'm not familiar with. 100% merino wool, fingering weight, 435 yards. So you can smell the vinegar on these, I guess, from the dyeing process. So that was my daughter on the phone, and she's asked me to do a favor to pick up my son-in-law so he can go to drop him off at the shop to pick up their car. Okay, so I've revised show notes and added positions back here. And you'll notice there is no title. That's because I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Sometimes I have a title in mind ahead of time, and other times it comes to me while I podcast, and sometimes I finish all the editing and the last step is to figure out a title for it. Sometimes that takes a while. Anyway, so I've got my show notes done, and I've moved them to the blog. And I can take a preview and see what it will look like on the blog. So I will add the screen for the video here after I've published it onto YouTube. So that all looks fine. And so then what I will do is basically copy all that. And then I've opened up a new thread in the Ravelry group, and I will add it into there. Now I have to go through and sort of fill in some gaps or delete some gaps and do things like, here I will put that into bold. That's my title. Put a gap there. Again, bold the title. And then what I will do after too is go through and provide, go through and provide links to all of the projects. So I will do that after. Right now I'm off to go pick up my son-in-law. So I will be back in a while. Before I left, I got the clips from today's Vlogmas episode uploading to the computer. So when I came back, I popped some lunch in the toaster oven and I sat down while it was cooking and started editing the Vlogmas episode for today. So you can see my screen of editing software, and if I move this along, you'll see images that you will have already seen from today's episode. And so now what I'm going to do is, while I finish my lunch, I'm going to finish editing the show notes for the Ravelry group, and then I will get my room ready to podcast. So here's the really behind the scenes part. This is what it looks like from the other side of the camera when I podcast. So you can see it's all very high tech. I have my ironing board set up with my tripod on it, and I have a couple of stacks of yarn containers or plastic containers that I pile projects on and acquisitions, etc. I have patterns and yarn labels ready to go. There's my FO for the day. And so I try and put everything within easy reach. So as I talk about it, I don't have to go out of frame too often or stop the camera too often. So yeah, this is the other side of the camera. And so right now I am going to go put the kettle on, make a cup of tea. Got my coaster all ready for my cup right there. And then I will put some makeup on while the kettle is boiling and the tea's getting made. Next time you see me, I'll be on the other side of the camera. Here's the tricky part. Getting just the right distance away that I can get these little sheep in the picture. Make sure they're turning the right way. Make sure my head's not cut off. Make sure the shelf looks straight. All of that goes into it. So here we go. It's showtime. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, December 14th, 2018, and this is episode 83. That's the first take. It will take probably about 10 more to get it all right. The intro is the hardest part, and once I'm past that, I have no problem, but sometimes it takes many takes to do the intro. See you on the other side of the podcast. Okay, the recording's finished. I'm gonna go make myself another cup of tea. This one's cold. I only managed to drink probably 2/5 of it, and while I was recording, so I'm gonna go make a fresh cup of tea and sit down and do a little bit of knitting while these files get uploaded to the computer. It usually takes about probably could be up as much as 20 minutes, half an hour. So then I will get going on the editing. So it took about 25 minutes to transfer about 45 minutes of recordings onto the computer. So I've opened up a new project in Power Director. That's what I use to edit my software. So I'm going to import the files into the thing. So I have a Stitch in Time folder. I will put in the title screen that I add the title to every week. Usually I do these all at once, but my hand's full of cameras, so, and I've got video or little music clips. That one works for the beginning and the end, and then I have the clips from today. The end screen's already saved, so I don't have to keep printing those over and over again. So that's the beginning. So what I'll do, I add the title screen in, and once I think of a title, because I don't have one yet, I'm changing the time there, that will be a 10-second thing, and then I add in the audio that goes along with it. So then I'll bring in the first screen that I recorded, the first segment. So I will start watching that, and I will add footnotes where appropriate, like with my Ravelry name, contact info, and I'll just watch it. I will edit out parts I maybe repeat myself or make mistakes or start over, and I will blend these 3 clips together and then get the podcast up to produce. So that takes a little while. Like I said, there's about 45 minutes worth of recording today, and so I will watch it all and edit where necessary. And I have my Christmas pie sock on my lap, ready to work on. So I sit and knit while I do this. Otherwise, it's time wasted time if I don't have something in my hands to work on. So I usually get a fair bit done on a stockinette sock every recording day, because I will sit and knit while I watch, and it's easy to pick up and put down as I need to use the computer. So I'll check in with you a little bit later. So for example, I'm going to start it and then add a footnote where I put my name. So it'll come along there. And I'll listen to it. Hello, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, December 14th, 2018, and this is episode 83. My name is Carol, and I'm known as Knitsim. There, so I'm going to pause there, and then I'm going to add in a footnote where I put my name across the screen. So I will continue to do that for my blog address and Ravelry group, etc. Something I don't always remember about till I'm all finished editing the podcast is to try and look for a screenshot to use for the title page, I guess, or title screen. I don't know what you call it. It's the one that comes up on YouTube or the blog or Ravelry. And so I happen to spot this one. This would make a good one, so I'm going to take a screenshot of it and I will title it with this week's episode number. And so this is what you'll see once I upload the video. It's no good relying on the ones that YouTube offers you. When you upload a video to YouTube, they'll give you 3 shots to choose from, and they're usually all terrible. So this way I have a little bit of control over what you see. It took me a while, but I finally came up with a title. I figure I've been slogging through the Christmas knitting. I've been knitting those felted clogs, and of course I've been doing Vlogmas, so rather clever, I thought. So I have finished editing the podcast, and now it's ready to produce. So I'll go on produce, and it takes me to a new screen eventually, and I'll press start. So see approximately how long it's going to take to process. That'll come up in a minute. Don't be alarmed, it won't be 7 hours. But when it's said and done, it'll probably be something like 4.5 or 5. Yeah, at least I can see as it settles in, it goes down. But yeah, somewhere around 4 hours from now, I will be able to upload this podcast to YouTube. It's Friday night, which means it's Appy night. We have a tradition that if we are home on Friday nights, we open a nice bottle of wine and have appies for dinner and catch up. And usually I wait for Cameron to get home before I start drinking, but I've actually poured myself a glass of wine, and I'm going to sit here and work on Matt's slippers. So the podcast is being processed. It's going to be done at about 8:30. At which time I will do the last finishing touches to get it up. That's why I don't usually podcast on Fridays, because I like to keep my Friday evenings free. But just how it worked out this week. Look, I have a pair! Yay! I'm so happy. They're done. Heard from Cameron a little while ago. He's been working outside of his region the last few days, helping to get a new store up and running. So he has a much longer commute, especially on a Friday night. Plus he left later than he normally would. So he's going to be a little while still. I had a little pre-appy, some cheese and crackers to tide me over till he got home. I was starting to feel that glass of wine. I thought I better eat. I realized I really hadn't had a snack this afternoon. So yeah, no more gift knitting tonight. I'm gonna go and sit down and work on my adventurous wrap till he gets all right. Next step, video is uploading to YouTube. It's going to take about another 15 minutes or so. So it's gotten rather wild and woolly outside in the last little while, and the power just went out and came back on. So we have candles, we are ready. I don't know if you can see or hear, but the wind is blowing and the rain is falling. And thanks to that brief power failure, I had to restart my computer and restart the upload. And dinner's just about ready, so I'm going to do that after we have dinner. Yeah, kind of a stormy night here. Good to be, well, I'm outside now, but it'll be good to be inside. The nice thing about Appy Night is Cameron cooks, so dinner's ready. We're about to eat. Happy Appy. Right, so thanks to like a 3-second power failure, this is taking a whole lot longer than it normally does. But I have my video uploaded, and see, actually this week's selection of clips isn't too bad, but this is the one that I use specifically, so I'll use that for my screen. It's up there. And so I'm about to press done. I don't publish it right away. I take a quick look at it done and just review it, make sure everything looks okay before I make it public. Here's the moment of truth. I've checked it over and now we go live. So now make this video come up on Ravelry and on the blog. It's about to go live on Ravelry. There we go. And now it's about to go live on the blog. And there it is. One last step is to check out all the links and make sure they go to the right place. And after that, that's all done for another week. Good thing I checked because I forgot to put a link into my Downtown Mystery Socks on the Ravelry page. So I always have to go through that. So that's probably more than you ever wanted to know about how I put a podcast together, but it gives you some idea. It's more or less a day-long project. I started this morning and probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and it's now about 20 to 10. And so some days it doesn't take this long. Lots of days it doesn't take this long. There were various interruptions and different things got thrown in the mix, like power failure. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of how I spent my day. So I'm going to go and get the rest of this episode put together and uploaded tonight, and I'm actually gonna go spend some more time with my husband. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's still just blowing out there. Hopefully we don't have another power failure, at least not until I get this up on YouTube. So good night, everyone. Have a good, well, by the time you see this, it'll probably be tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on Vlogmas Day 15. Cheers. Happy Appy.